I mean, and so I like the longer days just on the seasons, on the spring and the summer period. But because like you said, now I will say this: since I eat when senior citizens eat. Now I don't eat. I don't eat in the dark, no matter what time it is. What's your own? Because we usually eating in that between 4 and 5.
Oh yeah. And the thing that's so aggravating about this, I think most everybody agrees that they'd like to stay on daylight savings time. I know there's probably a few people out west that may not, but I think overall, and the fact we can't get this done is what is so aggravating. We're not talking about, look, there's a lot of things we have no control over.
Yep.
We got weather, hurricane, tornado, snow, all this, health issues you can't control. But this is something we vote on as a country, and we can't seem to get it done because the few is holding up the many. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, y'all probably been through it too, is to watch your kids try to make you explain why this archaic system is continuing, and you don't have an answer for them.
No.
And they're like, so just to your point, Bob, this happened this week. So we could stop doing this. We could, and we won't. And I'm like, no, we won't.
Sorry. And we even go part of the way. I mean, our state has already said yes, but we got to wait on the feds to let us do our own thing.
I don't.
And that's been hung up for some reason. I don't get it.
Well, they've got us in the wrong where we live in Alabama, which is where we all live. We're too far east. Y'all got us on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but what we want to do, because we like where our programming is, we just want to stay on what is now called daylight savings time and not go back.
And see, I think
still be Central Time.
I think that's
what just stay.
That's part of the rub, maybe, because daylight savings time is not the real time. Standard time is technically the real time, and we're adjusting. But because there's 24 time zones around the globe, so.
Right.
You get it out of whack. But they want you to do this. They want to say you have to stay on standard time, but we'll move you to Eastern time. Well, see, then that's even so.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that because now we don't like.
Who cares about all that?
Of course, I don't watch enough live events, but the sports would hurt. Yeah, sports would hurt.
You see the way the time zone goes down. See, they carve us out anyway. It ought to go down the Mississippi River. That'd just make more sense.
It would. Yeah.
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 But
I mean, Tennessee's already split anyway. I mean, they're half Central, half Eastern.
You hate it for Mississippi, but Bubba, what you're saying is where Illinois and Indiana are, just come straight down and slice Alabama.
Too far
look at that map, you realize
we're too far east.
Jacked up.
You know what I mean? We are too far east.
Yeah. I mean, we have friends in Texas, and in December
it's
dark at 4:30, and it's nowhere close to dark.
Right.
They're still 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Well, it's getting silly too from a federal standpoint. I mean, guys, how long are we even staying on standard time now? I mean, we just moved.
Yeah, we
just
down.
went forward March 10th, and when did we start? November?
No, it was late. It was November. It was after
How
Halloween.
long are we even doing it now? We're only doing it a few months.
And I feel so bad for Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee because they can't just they have it two different ways all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look at Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana is you talking about a mess.
Oh, it is.
Top left corner and bottom left corner.
My gracious.
And then in the middle, we're all different.
I know.
I mean, goodness.
Well, you learn to speak the language, and like I said, we have friends in Kentucky that have to go back and forth across the line, and they call it slow time and fast time.
I look. I even say, just to make it cleaner, like Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah.
I just take Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana, and
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that can look at a map sees there's a problem with it. That's right.
Well, yeah. Somebody drew it though to begin with. What would they do?
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
If you owe back taxes, fair warning, you're not going to like this. The IRS is mailing millions of pay-up letters. Then it's over to the 20,000 new IRS enforcement agents to find you. Why the IRS targets you and not millionaires? Because millionaires have tax lawyers. You don't. You'll pay up plus interest and penalties. You need Tax Network USA, and you need them now. Tax Network USA has brilliant war room strategies to solve your IRS problems quickly and in your favor, like a preferred direct line to the IRS. They know which agents to deal with and who to avoid. It's it's not all bad news, folks, because Tax Network USA learned of a special limited-time IRS offer. They're willing to waive $1 billion in penalties if you qualify. Schedule your free confidential consultation to see if you qualify for this limited-time IRS. 800-245-6000 or visit tnusa.com/Bubba today.
This is a very special day. The breeze took the clouds all away. It swept the sky like a broom and got ready for a very special day. This is a very special time. Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror, and somebody said, wake up. Wake up, it's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving, so this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way, that this is a very special day. Early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, it's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving, so this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way, that this is a very special day.
A very special morning it is. It's a terrific Tuesday morning. That means my partner actually and co-host this morning would be Angel Purlee with Americans for Prosperity. In the hot seat, we do have our own Roger Pennington with us. Good morning, Roger. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning.
Hey, Becky. How are you guys doing?
Good,
hello, Angel.
Good.
Hello.
So I wanted just the question in the room. First thing, is everybody feeling this time change? I mean, is it like affecting anybody else's world?
So I keep forgetting, and then I'm like, man, oh yeah, the time change. So I don't know. I'm not one of those that's like bitter. Like, I mean, like I might have like little thoughts of time change, but I'm not like, oh.
Are you a closet hater?
I maybe, but like I just keep going, man. Just keep going.
It just signals warm weather for me. It says spring's going to be here. It's nice to have the extra hour of daylight in the evening.
Right.
Spend more time with your kids or your grandkids outside playing ball and things when they get home from school or you know from daycare.
Yeah. But do you feel that? But has it messed you up? Like, have you like? I feel a little bit just like off my game.
I don't, because I don't sleep a lot anyway.
Okay.
So I'm a 4-hour-a-night person. So
you got your 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna let him hang with my kids for the day and see if
I
those
was
4
gonna
hours
say, there we go.
suffice.
I love that. Yeah.
We're gonna see if those 4 hours how well they do.
Well, I've got several grandkids that keep me hopping, plus my wife and my kids. So we're usually pretty busy.
Wife and kids in there with that. Like nobody said anything about spouses.
Oh, we keep them busy, don't think we don't. I think I don't know. I just feel like it's funny because we had a lot going on last night, and I was talking to others, and they said that too. Like, it doesn't usually bother me. I don't know. I just feel a little bit of a, I don't know, just a different vibe. I don't know.
Is it weird? I actually, so when we fall back, I'm affected more. And I know, like, oh, you're supposed to be affected in a better way, like in a better manner. But, like, for some reason, I don't know. I think it's the dark at 6 o'clock frame where I'm like, kind of like you know, like, because I'm still moving and doing, and it's like it's 6 o'clock, and like, it's I don't know, like we can't go outside really, and obviously it's getting cooler, and so I don't know. I think that I'm more affected by the fall back than I am the spring forward.
It's actually more annoying just having to reset all the clocks in your house.
Right.
And then the one that you forget to do is the one that you use, and then you're late.
I know. And like, well, and it's like midnight, and it feels like 9 o'clock. I don't know. I'm just like, what?
When I'm doing my microwave and oven, I'm like trying to hurry because I don't want them off too. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Da, 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 da.
And those are the things that like are visual, right there in your face, you know.
I know.
So, and it's just like you have to do that. Yeah. Well, I'm not complaining, just explaining, and just wondering if anybody else's vibe is a little bit off.
I think is it Arizona? Is Arizona that does not change time? I think it's Arizona that stays consistent all year round. And there might be another state too, but I think Arizona is one of them. I just heard that the other day. So I'm like, man.
There seems to be a push to do away with daylight savings time.
Yeah, it won't happen.
I see a lot of chatter about that, whether or not it'll happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, they talk about it, but I don't think it's going to, you know. Now years ago I heard Arizona was like the perfect state. I don't agree with that. I mean, I'm not, you know, for anybody from Arizona, good for you. I'm not saying that, but I remember that we had a big study.
I think we need a vacation there to find that out.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a
spring training there.
They
know,
do.
So maybe you know the weather. You know.
Maybe we need to go. I definitely
think so. We need to see.
I need to see for myself.
Research on this.
Right.
Definitely research.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think also like you know the beach research. You know to see if that's not the perfect right.
Well, we have to do comparisons. Like, I mean, you know. Like
we're not talking about beaches in Arizona.
No. We're talking about
I think a country music singer wrote a song about that one time. Oceanfront property in Arizona.
Oh my gosh,
kind of
I love
parody.
that.
It was George Strait. So.
I love George Strait.
Well, listen, I'm down. I mean, we can head over to California beaches and check those out.
That was on it, Roger. You're on it. Okay, daylight savings time's not affecting Roger. He's got to... Well, you might be having you're going to carry this show today, okay?
Listen, the 4 hours sleep, he does not. He does not care. It does not matter.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I don't need a whole lot of sleep, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm not as you're a little
functioning
bit more.
tired people present right here.
Exactly. All right, we are on to the 12th day of March, marching right along here. Today is Girl Scout Day. What about you, Roger? You love Girl Scout cookies?
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite
Samoas.
Oh. What about you, Angel?
I'm a Thin Mint. Yeah.
I like any of them, and I was a Girl Scout. You were not a Girl Scout.
I was not. No.
Yeah.
Didn't do the Girl Scout thing.
I was a Girl Scout. We learned all kinds of great things, you know, about how to actually start a fire, how to cook, how to make stone soup, you know, all kinds of fun things.
Some life skills.
Life skills, yeah, exactly. And we sold our cookies, you know, sold those cookies. Sold those cookies.
Yep,
National.
I bet you did.
Yes, we did. National Alfred Hitchcock Day. You like Alfred Hitchcock?
Yes, I do. The old black and white show.
Yeah.
I think Costello. What? I don't know who Alfred Hitchcock
totally
is.
Different.
So, like what?
See, I raised her on Everett and Costello. Yeah, more so. Yeah.
I don't know who Alfred Hitchcock is. Sorry. I mean, I think I've heard the name.
Kind of mystery, made you think, kind of odd. He had a different mind, didn't he?
That might not
I'd like
be
to sit down and have like a cup of coffee with him. I wonder how that would have been.
Well, I mean, it could be scary.
It could be.
Yeah, the way you guys talking.
Yeah,
I don't think that's up my alley.
Yeah.
That's not really my thing.
Yeah, I wonder, like, he had to be extremely intelligent, you know. Yeah. All right, National Baked Scallops Day. Roger, you like baked scallops?
Probably not a fan
of
baked
I love
scallops.
Me some seafood.
No,
I do like seafood, but not the
scallop.
Scallops? Not the scallop direction.
I do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at least they're baked, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I like them in that, like, you make them in, like, some pasta with, like, some fettuccine sauce. I don't know. That's what I was thinking when I think of baked scallops. Like, I don't know.
National Milky Way Day. I don't know if it means the candy bar or the Milky Way.
Oh.
You go either way.
I was totally going candy bar.
Yeah.
That's a 2-for-1.
That's exactly right. It's just as funny to see where did your mind first go, Roger?
The candy bar, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because then I immediately went to Kit Kat. And then I went to, like, different, like, I'm not a Milky Way person. I mean, like, it's not my first choice by any means. Although I will say, it's funny because those are like, so during Halloween, the miniature Milky Ways, you know, that people give out, that's like the last thing that we have left in our thing is all kinds of Milky Ways. So if you're a Milky Way person, just come over to my house and we'll give you all the Milky Ways.
All the Milky Ways. National Organize Your Home or Office Day. What about you, Roger? How organized are you?
How organized do you think I am, Becky?
Well, I would think that right now you're going to be going in convulsions at any given time with being in this room.
I've been in this room a lot.
I know,
Trust me,
I
I've been in this building
know.
a lot. Yeah.
And you handle it very well. You're very kind. You're very kind about this.
No, this is.
It's just.
This is history.
It's just all organized right here. Everything's organized, right?
There's a lot of
organized mess.
There's a lot of memories in history that have been made in this building, and just a lot of respect.
True. I do know Roger is very organized.
Oh, love that.
Yeah,
love
Roger's
that.
like very, very organized.
Yeah, I try to be. My kids completely fight against me.
Yeah.
Actually, I just organized my office the other day. Bought some brand new chairs to go in there, and so I don't know. I might organize my office a little bit more today. I don't know. Organizing is so cathartic. You know, just being organized and just being, getting rid of old stuff that you don't need. It's, Roger too has been in my old house. So I'm like, was it clean when he went in there?
I had no issues.
Hey, there we go. So, I do. Like, I work very hard to try to, or at least try to, and then my kids just completely negate everything that I try to do.
Was that something, Roger, that were you at an early age organized, or were you starting as you?
Always have been that way. I don't really know why. My parents weren't clutter people, but they weren't organizational freaks. It's just something that's in me, I guess.
But your mom probably loved that.
I like everything to be in its place. I like to know where everything's at. When I need something, I don't like to look.
Okay.
I like to know where it's at and go get
So
it.
the bottom line is you don't like to look.
Does your family do what mine does and completely mess everything up after you organize it?
No, my wife is an organizational freak as well.
Oh,
so that works out great.
Oh, wow.
Now, our kids, maybe, we can,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good. Whoa, okay. All right, moving right on. Okay.
That works, yeah.
National Plant a Flower Day. I love flowers.
I won't be participating in that.
Well, I don't. It's
everybody
a little cold.
go for it. I think it's supposed to warm up today, though.
Yeah, but then we'll have cooler days.
I see.
So I'm saying, we got a little bit. Yeah.
Get those winter poinsettias.
She had her poinsettia forever that I got her.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Like just a few weeks ago, it went bye-bye, but it stayed. I mean,
it wasn't that long ago that I just threw it away.
I got palm trees ready to go out. Yeah.
That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah.
Do you plant palm trees?
I know. Palm trees mean warm weather.
Yes,
and
palm
beaches
trees outside mean that it's gotten warm.
That's a destination my wife and I like to try to make once a year, is a nice, warm, sunny beach.
You should. You should do it twice a year.
Hopefully.
Look, Heather's gonna be like, yes, girl.
Yes,
I think we'll be going down in April at some point. My son Trent lives in, and he's having twin girls in April.
Oh my gosh, how fun is this?
So
double the fun.
We will be making that trip at some point in April to go down and visit him and his wife and my two new twin granddaughters.
You say down like some Florida?
They live close to Lakeland.
Okay.
Which is kind of in the middle of the state.
Do we all need to go?
Close to Orlando.
I think we all need to go.
I'm sure that the people of Florida would welcome any and all who want to come.
Listen, I will stay out of your way, okay?
Yes. Well, I will help rock a twin, okay? Or I'll try to rock both.
Hey, I will bring down some Fallon's clothes.
Yeah.
You can't have enough clothes, and for two girls at once.
I'll bring them bows. I love hair bows.
That's right. We'll bring down all the things.
Oh, that's congratulations.
We already have two granddaughters. They're 6 and 5.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been through that newborn phase, but two at one time.
Oh, this is funny. Girls.
Double the fun.
Yeah, you guys are having more girls.
Girls, I cannot wait to hear the reports as they start getting older.
Yeah.
The drama.
Yeah, we're awfully excited about it. And I told Trent he's going to have his hands full here in about 12 or 13 years when he has a house full of women.
Tell him to take stock in Procter & Gamble.
Yeah. I mean,
right now.
You can't find nature. I don't know. Good luck to you. I don't know. I have no advice.
He's gonna want his own island.
Well, raising one daughter at a time was enough.
You're raising two at once.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Two
sure.
would be.
Well, that's going to be a blessing, though.
Yeah,
Yay
it
for
will
life.
be. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy. Good for you.
That is. That's
gonna
awesome.
Yeah, that's going to.
I always wondered, like, I mean, I know that I had mine back to back to back, but like, man, just twins is like, that's a whole other thing. I mean, you're talking a whole other beast, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when you're sitting there after you have the one, you're sitting.
I hope he's not hearing this. He's going to hear.
I know, right? I know. Well,
like,
no, I'm saying
motivated.
I'm giving people though that have had twins, you know, like, I mean, good for you because like that, because like, you know, one, you get stressed out or it's like, man, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then you imagine just one right on top of it. Which, I mean, I had a little bit of that because mine were so close together, but I didn't have, you know, the stages right there, you know, like the not sleeping in the night, you know. My kids hit one, and they were like, okay, like, we're done waking up in the night. Like, we're done doing that. So I was very blessed on that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, National Working Moms Day. Hey.
Hey.
Yay. Hello. Look at us. I can bring home the bacon fried up in a pan. Remember that commercial? Angel
No,
doesn't remember
but
that.
that
Roger
sounds very sexist.
And never.
I can work and I can cook.
I know, I can do it all because we do. I mean, so many balls in the air juggling, right? I mean, we're always juggling something,
That's
correct? Right?
I can work. What was that? I don't know if that's appropriate. Is that like?
It goes on further. I mean, and I stopped. I mean, there's more to that.
I think
Roger
you should. I
knows.
think you should go ahead and fill
No,
us in.
no, I
Fill
don't
us
think
in.
so.
I'm curious.
For those at home, they already know.
Hey. Oh no.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a second. I know. We got to get to our sponsors. We will. I know. National Moms Day. Hats off to all the mommies out there. And for those that stay home, yay for you. And for those working moms, yay for you. So yay for all of them. Just
Yes.
hats off to
Go
mom.
mommies.
Mom.
I know. Oh man. It's like on repeat, man.
Yeah. Mom.
Change my name.
I always said I was going to change my name. Mom. Yeah, no, I
So
love
this
that.
kid's saying mom. Can somebody please help him? Where's this guy's mom?
She's totally confused. Okay, World Against Cyber Censorship.
No, I like that one. That's a good one. That's very relative these days.
Yeah. I heard that like there's like talking even like our TikTok,
Oh, you said it.
Oh, one of our social media. Anyway, that there's certain countries that censor theirs. They don't get all the information that is given sometimes.
So what does that tell you about people that are downloading it?
That
It's
are-
not
I
censored.
know.
What does that tell you? Are you a TikToker, Roger?
I am not.
Me either.
Well,
Me either.
I think the thing is that other countries are only letting their citizens know what they want them to know. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But
if you control the narrative,
yeah,
you
exactly.
kind of in the
Which is
driver's seat.
scary, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of power and
It is a lot of power.
it's a lot of access to give a different country if you're a TikToker. My PSA is just be careful.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say is just be careful.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's thank our sponsors this morning.
Yes, Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, American Spore Prosperity, Mama Roses, Fox Purlee Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Windhorse for Home, located Paoli in English, McAllister Land Consulting.
Yay! Thank you to our great sponsors.
Yes.
Appreciate that. All right, let's jump in and let's talk with Roger. And Roger, first of all, we got a lot to cover and a lot of area. And I want to ask, first of all, you were with the fire department for how many years for you?
37 years total.
I know. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So when you first started, like, was that something that, like, did you realize this is gonna be my career, or did you just think, because kind of tell your history.
Just both of my father and my grandfather were firefighters with the Salem Fire Department, so it's just a natural thing for me to move into. I, grew up around it, had a passion from early on to do that. I knew that's what I always wanted to do, and that's the direction I ended up taking my life, and extremely proud of it. Very happy to be able to live and serve in the same community. That's important. Could have probably went to a neighboring city or town and drove 40 miles to work and been a firefighter there, but I really wanted to do it here, where I grew up, where I went to school, where my family's at, where hopefully my family will continue. And my youngest son Wade went through the process now, and I think has an opportunity maybe to get a full-time position possibly with the department. So that would be the fourth generation
That's awesome.
So.
What a blessing. Wow,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Keep it going.
That's
Keep
exactly
it
right.
going.
So when you were like, okay, like, career day, I'm thinking like in kindergarten or first grade, and they say, what do you want to be, or dress up, what do you want to be? Was it firefighter?
Well,
Was it firefighter?
just from all the years of going to the school, when we do public service events, when you ask 6 and 7-year-old boys and girls what they want to be, fireman's a very, very popular response.
Yeah.
Just because at an early age it's easy to see a red shiny thing that has lights and makes noise, a fire truck.
Oh no,
you
my
have a
kids,
ladder,
my
you have
kids
a pole.
already.
You have a pole and you have a ladder.
They have it planned out. One's going to be a police officer. One's going to be a firefighter. Now, mind you, these are boys. So they told the girl, who has no, you're EMS.
Well,
so you don't get to pick between a firefighter or a police officer. It's like, what do you mean? She can't be a firefighter or a police officer? You're throwing her as an EMT? Right. I said, girls can be a police officer and a firefighter. But,
and we have had a couple of females that were on our volunteers. We've not had a career female firefighter yet.
I'm sure. Have to prove those boys wrong.
I'm sure at some point that's probably going to happen, of course, and that's that's one thing that we've kind of evolved. Police and fire both. I know if you watch any of the police shows on the weekends, you see a lot of female police officers. They do a great job. So I think that those are professions that might not have been available to women 30 or 40 years ago, and now that's just another avenue that you can pursue.
Right. So. Well, I think that when you step into the fire person role, did you realize though, like what all's in I mean, like did your family kind of prepare you, or did you see like your dad and grandfather, like all of the, I mean, there's a lot involved in it. It's not all the shiny truck and.
Right. Yeah. With any job, there are parts of it that maybe might not be as fun as others. There's times where you have to be really serious, and then there's times that I got to see a lot where, you have the guys working on a project together, and just the friendship and the bonds that you build with those other guys are things that you take through your entire life. And being on a department that has not only paid firefighters, but people that are just volunteering their time, you have so many different sources of ways that you can find things out. You might have an electrician that's a volunteer, a plumber. The vast amount of experience and knowledge that you have with your volunteer firefighters. Some of them are farmers. I mean, just any profession or any job you can imagine, you're probably going to run into it. So just another way to network, and just a vast amount of knowledge that you might not think about when you think of a guy that just wants to be a volunteer firefighter. Right. But that person has another job that's their career. And I mean, we've had school teachers, we've had, like I said, farmers, any kind of trade that you can think of. Merchants in town, farmers and merchants were really big on the volunteer fire department years and years ago, because they obviously had a vested interest in being on there to protect their property.
Right, sure.
If you're a farmer and you have fields of crops, you have tractors and farm things, you want to make sure that if you have a fire, that it can be put out. Sure. And the same way for your merchant. If you have a business in town, you want to make sure that you have a good fire department that can respond.
I love that.
So my biggest thing, and maybe I'm going from a mom perspective here, because I've never dated a firefighter, and I don't know if we've ever been related as a firefighter. But to me, what advice would you give somebody? Because to me, like, it's very scary. Like, would you give somebody that would be like, man, like, I would love to serve and I would love to do that, but I'm running straight into danger though.
Just trust your gut, trust your instincts. If you have a passion, just follow it, because that's probably going to take you where you need to be. It's about the best advice I can give. And I think
it's such a rewarding, for those that that you're serving, and I think that sometimes it goes unnoticed. Some of the things that you guys run into, and I think that it's very important to realize, that hey, like, you're putting your life on the line for somebody else.
Probably the easiest thing would be just try to volunteer at a department. Just try to become a volunteer firefighter somewhere, and that is a good way to get some experience from the ground up and kind of get a hands-on approach and a feel of what it's going to be like.
Right.
And you'll find out very quickly if it's for you or if it's not.
Right.
And it's not for everybody, obviously. Almost any job is not for everybody. But if you're one of those people that find that it's really attractive to you and it's really what gives you focus and drive, then there's no better profession. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And just the amount of pride that you get in knowing that you're helping people. And especially in a small community, it's even more, you know. Almost every fire or car wreck or any incident that I went to, there was a very good chance that I knew somebody, or I knew their family, or I knew a brother or a sister. So that just adds more, it just gives a little more to it.
And what's the longest you say you've been awake? Do you know? Have you been like 24 hours? Like, I mean, like, 'cause
Yeah,
you guys
probably.
have like those long hours. I
Well,
don't know what they are specifically.
Yeah, you work 24 on and you're off for
Oh, is
48,
that what it
and
is?
everybody
Oh,
thinks
okay,
everybody
okay.
thinks that you have to stay awake for 24 hours, and you don't. We have beds there.
You could have told us.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
I know no different.
Yeah.
So.
You know, that's the thing, is that you never know when an emergency is going to happen. You know, when you go to work, you might work a couple of days in a row and never have to leave. And then the next 2 days, it might be every hour, or 2 in the morning you're up for 16 hours because of a large incident. But you can't predict those things. That's why the fire department's there, because you don't.
Right.
If you knew when there were going to be emergencies, the world would be a lot easier to plan.
Right. Yeah.
So do you remember, like, is there one, and you don't have to like name a name, but like one fire, like that first fire that you went to, do you remember that feeling, or was that something, is there like one that just sticks out in your mind?
I hadn't been on very long, and we had a fire in a mobile home at Southway Villa, and I just remember the adrenaline rush of getting to the door and smoke being to the floor, not being able to see, and it's hot, and you can hear a fire burning, but you can't see it because of the smoke. Crawling back to where it's at and putting the fire out. That's
like
just
some
a
of a
huge.
movie.
I know.
It's just
I
a
know,
huge.
I know.
It's a huge adrenaline rush.
Well, I'm thinking, because, like, you know, like, you've trained and you've gone through everything, and then when that first fire that you get called, I mean, that's like boots on the ground, let's go. You know, that's it.
But
Here we go.
the fire department's like any other organization. It's a team, so
True.
it takes
Yeah, I
more
didn't
than
mean-
one. No,
yeah,
I'm saying
right,
you
but-
have.
Yeah.
You know, you have to rely on the people you work with,
Sure.
and through your training, and then through building a bond and a trust with them, because you're basically trusting that person or people with your life. So when you go inside of a burning building with 2 or 3 other people, it's a pretty easy way to bond pretty quickly.
Oh, definitely. No,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and I've watched you guys. You know, I've been at, you know, covering fires, and never been in the what I'm saying, in the houses or anything like that. But I've watched you guys, and it's so. I talked about it actually. You know, one fire when I came back on the air, it was so. I don't know if you want to use awesome, but it was just so touching to watch. You know how, like, you know, there'd be 2 or 3 in, and then they'd come out and they would be like on their knees, like kneeling to get their breath, to get their oxygen, and then the other ones would be tagging. I mean, you guys, you had it down to a science or formula, or, you know what I mean? It was just, and to watch that, and like, you know, like we'll talk about it in a moment, but we listened to you on the radio. You know, we've known each other forever, and knowing that, but then watching you be that professional. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just a different, you know.
Once you put on your fire hat.
Yeah, when you do that, it's just so.
Literally.
No, I mean, it's so. When you watch that from a, you know, when I'm sitting here watching this from, you know, from afar or over here, did you guys just say what I said, afar? Sorry. You know, sorry, make myself laugh. Anyway, from you know, from the outside, from a distance. Okay.
Do you want to just finish what she's trying to say?
Well, no, I think I know what she's trying to say.
Remember the joke, from afar?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, but watching from a distance, thank you, Roger, for that. Use my words. Anyway, from a distance, it's so, the professional, the way you guys are so professional, and watching each other have their back, watching each other take care of each other, making sure, checking on each other, is just, it just, to me, I just started crying because it was just so
I think that
touching.
chalks it up to the team that they have.
Yeah.
And not only is it dangerous to go inside, but we have people on a roof that go on the roof of a building to try to ventilate it, to make holes for the smoke and the heat and the fire to go out. And that's a very dangerous point of being a firefighter as well. It's not just the guy going inside the burning building, it's the guys that are on top. It's the guys that are outside working on the street, you know, working the fire truck pumps and things like that. I mean, it takes a lot of people to run an effective fire scene, and that's why it's important for everybody to be well trained, to make sure you have the right equipment, and then to have a good plan to go into action. And we've always had a really good fire department here in Salem.
I agree.
And we are very
Very
fortunate for
blessed.
a small community like us to have a full-time department for a lot of reasons. Just you know when you call somebody's coming, and some of our smaller, volunteer departments, just when they're operating on people that are out working every day. Yeah. It's hard for those people, and hats off to those volunteer departments that are struggling with funds, and
love them.
Those people are the true people that are really sacrificing a lot.
Yeah.
Because they have other careers, and they're taken away from their family and other things to serve their community. So.
Well, and you watch them, and they are fantastic too.
Yeah.
I mean, they join right in, and anytime there's a fundraiser or anything for a volunteer fire department, please support it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it best. Like those volunteers. I mean, it's from AFP, our volunteers are very important.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that he said also, if somebody's looking into being a firefighter and getting that experience, volunteering maybe a little bit first. I think that's a great idea to do that. Also, make sure you pull over, get out of their way. I mean, I don't know if you guys have experienced a lot of that.
Oh, a lot of close calls, and mainly it's from people that just don't hear you or don't see you. Yeah. It's not from people that
jamming out.
Yeah. And you can tell.
Rocks.
And you can,
That's right.
You can
people
tell,
jamming out to their radio.
And when you're driving down the road in a fire engine, you can tell the people that are paying attention, the ones that aren't for some reason. And usually, once you get closer and you lay on that loud air horn, they jerk and they get out of the way for you.
I'm probably having some long conversation with my kids, and I'm thinking they're playing with some fire toy in the back of my car, and like, oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. Sometimes I will be in the zone or talking to them, or listening to the radio, something, and I'm like, man, why did they pull over? And I'm sitting there looking, and then I'm like, oh, and then I realize. I mean, I'm a big believer, and definitely, because some people also go really slow. I try to stop. Isn't it I thought it was standard to, pull over.
I mean, the best thing to do is if you can't pull over, just stop and remain stationary, and then
right. I mean, I thought that was
navigate around
etiquette. Tell us what etiquette is on traffic etiquette here for fire.
Pull to the right and stop.
Right. See, that's what I was thinking. Because some people will still kind of, keep going. They cannot stop. They keep going. So I try to stop, the best I can.
So Roger, this wasn't we're going to get off this.
I know we went down a big rabbit hole
here. But okay, real quick, since we did just have time change, and that was a good time to change the batteries in your smoke detector.
It is.
What do you, as a retired fireman, what do you think is that something everybody should have one in every room, a smoke detector? How important?
Well, you need at least one on every level of your home. If you have an upstairs, you need one upstairs, you need one downstairs. The best place is in a center location. It's best to have one inside every bedroom, any place that you sleep, and test those once a month and change your batteries twice a year. They are coming out with some now that have a 10-year battery. So when you buy your smoke detector, it will state on there if it has a 10-year battery, and if it does, you're obviously good.
I need one of those.
But you do need to test them once a month. Just push the test button to check that battery, and if it beeps and goes off at you, then you know your battery's good.
Right. And I love our fire department here, because the city of Salem, if you don't have a smoke detector, they will make sure you get one.
Yes.
You guys are fantastic.
We started that program a long time ago.
Love
and
that. And
most of those are bought from people that are just giving us donations to buy those smoke alarms, and you can just stop by the fire department, and the guys that are on shift can help you out.
Yeah. So please don't go without one. Yeah, for sure. All right, so so then you retired, and after 37 years, it's crazy. So then what was on your agenda after that?
Well,
radio.
Well, yeah, obviously, I've had a long relationship with this radio station over the years, going all the way back to when your dad was here.
Yeah. Doing
a lot of sports.
Which
over
is
the
fun.
years.
I'm so happy to talk with you about that.
Going all the way back to I think I threw a name out the other day, Les Arms.
Yes.
Which was back in the late 80s, I think, mid to late 80s. So I've been involved here at some level for quite a while. And actually one of the first fire runs I made was actually here. When there was a small debris fire between the buildings over there.
I cannot believe you remember that. Yes, yes.
That's funny. So, I have zero shock on that.
No, I know. And
it wasn't a major incident.
No, I was actually on there, and I came in and I started an album, and because I thought, I better start an album so they don't have dead air. And then the first thing you guys did was cut the electricity. You know what I mean, or turn off the electricity. And so, but I did try as a disc jockey. I wanted to know. I didn't want to have dead air. I didn't want that on my record. Okay, go ahead. And
so just saying. I mean, I've got back into doing some sports with you. This past year we did Salem Lions basketball.
And you guys just started. You and Tom. You guys have just. You guys have clicked and you just took right off. I mean. Yeah,
it was fun to get back in the saddle, as we say. Not a super successful year for the Lions from a win standpoint, but a lot of improvement. Coach Nice, his first year here at Salem, he's trying to build a program, and those things take time.
Yes.
And so looking forward to seeing them next year. A year later with trying to put some of the things in place that he wants to see happen. Just to continue to watch that that whole program build. So
I think the thing too, and I don't get me wrong, I love wins and everything like that, and I'm happy, about a winning season. But I think, like you said, he's rebuilding. He's new. He's starting off, but he's also forming wonderful young men.
He is,
That's at the end of the day, that's what you want.
And having coached a lot of those guys in football for the previous 4 years, I was on the varsity football staff, so I know almost all of those boys from a personal level, and so it was fun to watch them. Move along in their career and become a year older and reach some new milestones. And they were just a really good group of young men. And Coach Knights and his staff, they do a great job with that.
Yeah, and they really care. And I think you guys, and I think too, it's so important though. Wins or loses or losses or what or however. I think it's so important to broadcast that for people that if they go to the game, they can take their headphones, but. No matter what, for those that can't make it, to be able to hear the game.
Well, and with the social media platforms you have now, I mean, it's even better than it was.
Alumni from anywhere.
15 years ago,
sitting there in Arizona.
You had to be able to pick up the radio station, and now you don't.
Yeah.
You can go on Facebook and you can sit, as you said, anywhere. My son lives in Florida, and he listens to all on the Facebook feed that you do, or X.
That's cool.
So that's a really neat thing for these players and for a lot of their families now that you didn't have not that long ago.
Right.
Yeah, I think all around the announcers this year, we had a really good year.
Yeah, this was a really good, and new ones, and the, it was just, it was a good.
And most of those sponsors that you read, a lot of those were sponsors of Salem Lions basketball too. Couldn't do it without those wonderful people, and those are just some really good people, and a lot of those are sponsors of this program.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah, and the sponsors are. Yeah, they're the ones that
make it happen, Captain.
That's right. Absolutely. So then, also, you've also not only did you. So you're definitely not after retirement. You sure haven't gathered any moss. I mean, you've kept going. So
I'm a busybody. I like to stay busy.
He only sleeps 4 hours.
Right.
I know. He's got 20 more hours to get things done.
So yes, then I transitioned into being an elected city councilman, which is something that I've wanted to do for a long time and waited for the right opportunity, I feel like, to build kind of my resume and a lot of life experiences and being involved with the fire department. I was fire chief for 4 years, so having a pretty good working knowledge of how the city operates. I threw my hat in the ring and kind of entered into this stage of my life now, and I'm very excited and proud to be able to serve the people of the city of Salem, and have a lot of things that we're working on, and just really look forward to the next 4 years.
And that was exciting, and I think too that the background of the fire chief to actually being on the department gave you a lot of good knowledge to bring to the table.
Yeah, when you're the fire chief, you're involved at a much more in-depth level of city government, because you're obviously planning a budget.
Budgeting.
You're operating off a budget. You have to submit a budget. Just the management of people and protocols and things that you have to follow, and once again being organized. It all just like I said, I just feel like that it's something I've wanted to do, but I wanted to make sure that I felt like I was really ready for that position as far as being a city council person. And that's why the timing just worked out perfect. I couldn't imagine doing this when I was 30 years old. Not that it can't be done. We have I think a 25-year-old, 26-year-old city council person who's doing an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Who might be a little more advanced in his maturity level than some people at that age.
Yeah.
But it was perfect timing for me. So.
That's great. So some of the things that that you're working on as a city council, and you actually had a meeting last night, and we were there to broadcast it, which I'm happy to do. But some of the things that are the topics right now. What are we?
Well, obviously with trying to get a water committee established and formed is a really big priority for me, and we introduced some things last night to try to get that ball started. I think everybody knows we've had, it's the elephant in the room. We've had some water issues in the last 18 to 24 months.
Yeah.
It's obvious with, some of the capital projects that we've done, some of the future things that are going to have to be done. And I just really feel like that maybe the public's lost a little bit of trust and faith in us, whether it's our fault or maybe it's nobody's fault. But I really feel like that when you have a problem, the first thing you have to do is you have to identify the problem, and you have to figure out why you have a problem. And I think sometimes it's good maybe to take a different approach and bring a different set of eyes and ears and minds to the table and try to work a problem and come up with some different solutions, maybe think outside the box a little bit. And that's really the whole purpose of creating this committee, was to involve the community. There would be 3 community members that would be on that board with 2 elected council people. They would have an opportunity to go over the water department from top to bottom. How are you operating? What are your jobs? What are you doing? Just a complete overhaul and look, possible funding solutions for some of our larger projects. Just a way to maybe build some of that public trust back. Knowledge is, power. And if you're the only person that has knowledge, you're the only person that has power. So I think it's really good to bring.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. So I think sometimes it's good to have an open mind maybe and take a different approach. And that's really the whole purpose of this. And I just think it's just, I think we're at that point where we have, obviously we just had a project that we turned down that was going to require raising rates to a pretty high level over the next 3 years, coming up off of a water rate increase back in 2021. And so not that we don't need to do these updates on some of our water infrastructure, but just trying to do it in a timely, well thought out manner that puts the least amount of burden that we can on our community,
right,
from a financial standpoint especially.
And the citizens.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope I navigated that very well.
I think you did, and I think that bringing, if you have 3 citizens, you said 3 citizens on this board, I feel like that's getting everyone involved, and I think that's something that I think our community has been wanting to be involved.
How are they chosen?
Well, the mayor would have an appointment to that committee, and then there would be an application process. If you were interested, you would fill out a simple 1-page application, and then that would go on for maybe 2 weeks, and then those names would be brought together. The entire council would debate those names and then come up with the 2 best candidates for that position. Hopefully there would be a large number of applicants.
I think there would be a large number, yeah. I definitely think so.
And then those would be chosen by the city council, so there'd be a couple of council appointments. So it would be 2 elected city council members among the 5 that are there now, 1 appointment from the mayor, 2 from the council. So it would be a 5-person committee. That would be their only responsibility. Nobody would be compensated. As soon as the committee's findings, we would present those back to the entire council and the mayor. Doesn't mean that any of the recommendations that the committee would find would have to be acted upon.
Yeah.
It's simply just a fact-finding mission to come at it from a different point of view. Once the committee performed its function, then it disbands. It's gone.
It's a volunteer.
So it is. It doesn't last forever.
But I think that would be, I can see that getting the community involved, or being a part of it. I think that's.
And how long is that? Is it? I mean, you say, I know the process. You said hires 2 weeks. So how long would they have time, to?
No longer than 3 months.
No longer than 3 months. Okay.
like give them ample time to get together.
Yeah, and we've discussed that we know that our water department right now is running a deficit just in the operational funds. So that's an immediate concern that we have. And that's one of the issues that this committee would tackle, would be to look at ways that we might have to raise rates, but also to keep that as least hard on water users as we can, whether that be looking for grant opportunities, things like that. I think would be an excellent way for the community to work with city government and build back some of that trust.
Well, and sometimes different, I like diversity and having different, folks from different areas or different walks of life coming together. Maybe someone will catch something or say something or see something that someone else hasn't. I always feel like that we complement each other usually, and I think that's to open that up and to have, 2 council members and then have the 3 public. I think that the public might be they'd be very happy about that.
Yeah, I think it's just a different approach. Yeah. Maybe not as has been tried in the past, but yeah. I think when you go ask things from the community, if they're involved, it's much easier to ask, and it's much easier for them to give. Yeah. If they felt like they've been a part of the process, and
if they knew that everything's been exhausted, there's no way around this. We have to do this.
Right.
Then at least you've tried this. You've tried, and I know, I like to try every avenue before you know.
Exactly.
And I think this is one more avenue to try and to see, and maybe there'll be some solutions, or maybe not. Maybe it'll might go back to where it has to happen. But at least you've tried, and they've been a part of it. They've seen the process, and I think that sometimes in everything you don't always understand what's going on, and maybe this will give some more understanding and maybe a little bit more. I don't want to say necessarily to be transparent, but also a little bit more. Maybe.
I mean, it would be cool. I mean, because I think that, and I will stand corrected if there are just a bunch of water experts out there, but this is not my wheelhouse. So to me, I know everybody's like, oh, like people say, like everybody's got their thing, right? So like politics is my thing. Like I love politics. I don't know everything about everything. I don't know everybody that's running. I don't know every policy. I don't know all politics, but certain areas that I get excited about. But water is just something that's not my wheelhouse. So I think that something, and I'm speaking just as a citizen of Salem as well, trying to dumb it down for the people to understand what is actually happening, and whether that is you, whether that's the mayor. I think that the transparency is very important, and I think that you talk about building trust. I think that, I don't know whether that's, I don't know the answer. Maybe that's a 10-step, hey, these are 10 facts you need to know about the water. And that way, just because I think that, we know, we've established there's a problem, right? But we don't know the solution 100%, but also what is happening. And I think that, because you see we'll go back to social media, everybody's got their opinion and everybody's got, their thoughts on it. So I think that if we got something, whether that was a 10 fact sheet or something, just add to this, I think that will help as well. That way there's nothing, I'm going to say the word shady looking, and I'm not saying you guys are doing that, but I think that will help, just being transparent on right now. And I think this is a great opportunity too. This is running, hey, you want to complain, but yet you didn't put your name in the hat, to try to fix things. Just like here, hey, you want to be involved and you want to try to help the problem. Don't be a part of the problem, try to fix the problem.
Well, I can tell you, we have there are a lot of smart people in Salem.
I agree.
There are a lot of smart people in Salem, and that's why if you have 5 heads together in a room, you get a lot of different points of view. You get a lot of different opportunities to bounce ideas off, and that's how I've worked in the past a lot. Is you don't always have to have the idea, but you can take somebody else's idea and they can take yours, and you can combine those things. But yeah, I just think this has been something that obviously just the more people you have involved and the more transparency that you have, I think it just adds that extra layer of confidence that the public has for you. And let's be honest, people that would potentially serve on this committee are people that live here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
They're going to be using that water. Their
Yeah.
families are going to be using that water.
Yeah.
So it's important to us. It's our community,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's not taking anything away from, you know, some of the engineers and different people that have worked on this, but some of those people don't live here, you know, and,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we live here. We're going to have to deal with this problem. You know, we don't get in a car and drive 60 miles home when our day's done. We go home right here in this community. And that means a lot, I think. You know, local people solving local issues. I mean, if you want to make a difference in people's
that's
lives,
better, yeah.
Well, and
You
just
know-
because you might not be a water expert, doesn't mean that you don't know.
it doesn't. It
Doesn't
doesn't.
mean that you couldn't be on this committee to be like the if you have soil, land, if you understand, you know, what I mean, if you have other expertise, you know, that you could be that you can bring to the table. You know, you don't want everybody. You don't want the same mind thought of everybody. You want the three different and the two council. You want the five all to have, you know, different backgrounds and different.
Well, and also you have a council that just turned down a, you know, proposed revenue bond to do some improvements. So it's not that the council wanted to say no, we don't want to do anything. We're offering a way to show that we're not just saying no, we want to do these things, but we want to find another way to do them.
Right.
That's basically what it's saying.
And,
We all want to get to the same point.
right.
It's just how do we get there?
And the point has to be got.
That is the mystery of life. We all know there's a problem. We all have a different way of fixing it.
Right.
So.
Well, and I think, you know, you're talking water. That's huge. You know, that's like, you know, we all, you know, should be taking baths. You know, we all, you know,
Drinking, I mean,
cooking, everything.
brushing our teeth, all
Yeah.
the things.
Well, and it's also important for any future growth we might have in our community too. It's very important. That's one of those pieces that it's important that we have in place, so that if, you know, that if a business wants to move here and they want to build a large facility, are we going to be able to supply enough water for them, or is water going to be part of what they're making? So there are a lot of things to think about. But you know, I think my approach and one of the ways I look at it is if we have a problem, let's don't just instantly turn to you, the taxpayer, or you, the person that lives in our community. Let's look inward first and look at our organization and do an evaluation of it. And are there some things that we're doing that we might be able to do better, that will make things better and might cut down on some costs that we're looking at in the future. So I think you look at yourself first and you kind of get that all cleaned up. And then you start looking outward a little bit. So
I think that's a good mindset. I think
yeah.
the taxpayers appreciate that mindset too.
Definitely.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I won't say it's the easiest route, but it kind of is the easiest route. And sometimes easy isn't always better. You know, I don't feel like I got elected to just make the job easy. I mean, I knew what I was getting into, and you know, obviously I think this is a pretty proactive council. Maybe we haven't had that so much in the past, so that probably is a little different view for some people, to have a council that's really active and wants to be, you know, involved and, you know, kind of engaged with City Hall and work some of these problems out.
But I do think like a good, I think you definitely bring up a good, and I love thinking, I love people thinking and making people think. And I don't want to call it a debate, but I believe you bring some to the table saying, hey, let's try this method, let's see what happens. And, you know, and there's no harm in this. There's nothing going.
Well, and I mean, obviously we're not really a time crunch, but we're going to have to make some pretty important decisions probably within this year about some things.
Right.
And so that's why it's important
But
to really.
3 months, I mean,
It's
3
not,
months.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
very
And
fair.
that's the maximum. It doesn't mean the committee couldn't function in 6 weeks or a month.
Yeah.
It's just saying that would be the maximum. You know, 3 months would
I
be
mean,
plenty
day
of
one, they
time.
might have, I mean, you know, you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, somebody might be able, I mean, you know, different backgrounds, they might be able to just walk in and be like, hey, why don't you guys try this?
And this would be a working committee there would be a lot of time involved in this. This is just something you're going to be able to pick up the phone and talk to another committee member about. I mean, you're probably going to have to have a lot of meetings, maybe even traveling to some different cities close to us to maybe take a look at their water utility department.
That's what I was thinking.
See how they
I was
operate,
thinking
get
that,
some
but I didn't want to
advice.
overstep. I was
Yeah.
thinking, what about surrounding?
I mean, I could see that being definitely part of the function of that committee and those committee members. So yeah, it would be a very active working committee that would be tasked with a very important job, obviously.
Oh, I would love that. But,
And you know, like I said, whatever recommendations would even be brought back, it doesn't mean that any of those have to be acted upon. It's just a fact-finding committee that would present some recommendations and some findings. The city council as a whole, along with City Hall, would take those under consideration and do with them what they please.
Well, I think that, and so anybody that is thinking about possibly putting their name in the hat for this, keep in mind that you will need to have time that you can give to this, and also if you feel like you have maybe, I mean, just like you said, we have a lot of smart people. We have people that will look at something, we'll try it this way or try it that way, and I know in anything you do, it's always nice for somebody to give you suggestions or give you help or hey, try it this way, or try it that way. Maybe you've been doing it this way for so many years.
Well, I trust the people of Salem.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I mean, I've lived here my entire life. I trust the people in this community to do what's best for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, and their families.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is, we have, we're raising our children, our grandchildren. I mean, this is something, and water is well, one of the most
important.
Very
a little
much
bit.
so.
A
Very
little
much
bit.
so. Yeah. So
I think that's a good mindset to have, and I hope I do. I hope that a lot of people, and we said it. You don't have to be a water expert to try to get involved, and I hope that some people who can devote that much time will jump on that opportunity. I really do. I hope that you don't that people deter people because of the time. I think it'll be a great opportunity. Yeah, I do. I think it'd be great.
It'd be great for the person that volunteers, giving back to your community, and knowing you're making a difference. And if you maybe your background's an engineer, maybe
Yes.
I mean, looking for ways to serve, trying to make a difference. I mean, in 3 months, I mean, you come up with some good good solutions that are for the better of the water. I think that's a great opportunity.
And just to segue into something else, myself and some other community leaders and civic leaders, business owners are planning a community cleanup day on
remind us of that.
Saturday, May the 11th. It'll be the second Saturday in May. We have, I think, almost all of the materials that we need have already been donated. We've got local business people that are going to donate to that, and it will be very similar to, I believe, Rotary has done that in the past. I think that Adam Kelly was heavily involved with that before. They would do one a year, and it'll be very similar to that. And more information will be released on that when we get a little closer. It'll be a Saturday. It'll be probably a 4 or 5 hour event. It'll be just anybody that wants to volunteer. We'll divide the city up into groups or areas and send groups of people out and have on nice bright colored sponsored t-shirts and
oh, you had me at swag.
I was saying I work for t-shirt or give me a t-shirt and you got me.
So we will.
What do you want me to do?
But I know that was something that I've done a couple of times. Whenever I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Rotary that was doing that. I know Adam was heavily involved in that, and I've spoke with Adam about this a couple of times. He's been a good resource to help me kind of get going here. So there's several of us that really pay attention. I know we've had some social media posts about some areas of town that have a lot of debris and clutter and litter. So it would be nice if we could have got this done before the eclipse, obviously, with so many people coming into town, but it just didn't work out that way. And we'll do this in May, and it will be a nice way to start spring.
Yeah.
And I know that they've accumulated a large amount of garbage in the past from doing it. So.
Absolutely, I've been a part of it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, will you provide the gloves and the trash bags?
Yes, all of those items have been donated.
Awesome.
We'll have food there probably before and after. There's some local business people that want to donate some food to help with that. When you involve food, typically turnout's always much higher than
I'm
anything you do.
This. The T-shirt. I don't know if I need the T-shirt. You had me. Now you got me at food.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it'll be a nice way.
Work for food, 100%.
It'll be a nice way for maybe some high school groups that have community service projects. Just anybody. You don't have to be a resident of Salem if you live in Campbellsburg or Pekin and you want to, because I know Pekin's going to be doing one too here before long. I've seen where they're planning one. So
nice.
Just if you want to be involved and you want to make Salem a little more beautiful, it's already a beautiful place.
A little cleaner.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think it's great idea, and I think that again, getting everybody involved and giving back to your community.
And our younger generations. I'm looking here because she's much younger than us.
Yeah, that's right.
they tend to be more concerned about the environment and things like that, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity for some of those, maybe for us to teach our younger people maybe some good things as well.
So will that be at City Hall? Will you start at City Hall?
Haven't decided where we're going to initially meet, but that'll be
Okay, just
yeah.
go ahead and
Everybody
save the
will
date.
initially
This
meet.
is your save the date,
Yeah.
and then we'll get some of the details a little
Yeah.
bit closer to time. Yeah, that will be fun. That's going to be awesome. Though.
And
Well,
that's just something that we're doing just as a group. It's not technically really being sponsored by anybody, just concerned citizens and business people in the community that want to pitch in. And
That's awesome.
Well, I think sometimes people want to do things, they just don't know. Like, you kind of have to organize something. You know what I mean? They don't know what needs to be done. What could I do? And then when you say, let's do some cleanup, then let's be a part of this. So I think.
So there'll be a short briefing, so to speak. There'll be some things we'll have to talk about. Obviously, some things you might not want to touch or pick up and things like that that we can talk
you see
about.
a backpack sitting there.
Some safety things,
All
all
the
that will be
authorities.
covered. Yeah.
Listen, listen, the Amazon packages are not for you to pick up.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Just saying.
Go clean up your porch.
Yeah, we're not going to wander into people's front yards or anything like that on their porches. Yeah.
The FedEx, UPS, Amazon packages, as tempting, but no, they're not.
Well, just even coming in here in front of Walmart,
Yeah.
if you're coming here to the studio, you just see a large amount, and it's just,
Sure.
you know,
People,
we don't have those work crews that get out like they used to.
Right. You're right. That's huge.
That used to get out and do a lot of that work. Those things just don't happen for a lot of reasons now. So.
Right. You know, even the fairgrounds too would be nice to clean some. You know, I know they would appreciate that. I'm sure. You know, because you won't be in May. You're not too much longer of a thing.
Well, and Randy Lee's kind of he takes care of that property. He's on the city council, so he's 100% supportive of this, and he'll be participating, and it's about building those relationships and those connections, and
love that. All right, also Angel with Americans for Prosperity.
Yeah, we've talked about volunteering so much.
I know. You've got some opportunities to do that. I do want to say that so now a little bit on the presidential race, it looks like we're getting a little bit more.
Oh yes, we're down to one candidate.
Yeah.
Donald Trump on the Republican side.
Yeah, and I got the chance. I haven't spoke since. Well, I've been, but I haven't with you since I go into Washington D.C. I want to say our girl Erin Halchin up in the 9th District is doing a fantastic job. She's and not only do we know how good she is, but it's awesome to watch others know that, and they know that. And she's and it was nice to visit with her, and she's very much staying up and staying in contact and keeping in the know with our community. So I appreciate that. So.
Yes, she is very busy. I think that again, talk about something that goes unnoticed. I think that when you think of Congress and stuff, you think glamour, and it's not as glamorous as what a lot of people think. It's not, like. She's not in the district as much as she would like to be because she's out in DC fighting for the district, and I think that a lot of people don't realize that. So yes, it takes a lot, a lot of sacrifice, whenever when you serve in Congress, and she's doing a great job, and that's cool.
I got to visit with her. And
you didn't get the opportunity to visit her in district, so you had to go out to DC.
I flew all the way to DC to get an appointment with Erin Halchin. Yeah.
No, but no, she does. I think that her and again going back to you say Salem, and I'm just going to say the state of Indiana. We're very blessed in some of the people that we have to serve in Congress, and we have a lot of great people at the federal level, the state level, the local level that serve, and so we are very blessed in that aspect. So we are, and we're closing in on the governor's race we've got coming up, the Senate race. We've just got a lot going on here inside Indiana, so I just hope everybody's paying attention right now. It'll be here. We're down to 2 months, which I would hardly call May. Because we got just a few months in May, and you're voting, and we got that primary. But it's not over after the primary. You still got a general election, folks. So just make sure we're following those races and make sure we're following those candidates. We are currently, in fact, we are starting to tap into a little more races in the primary. We've got opportunities down south in Clark County that we're going to start. So. If you are really wanting to get involved in the campaign aspect, this is a really good opportunity. We are still hiring door knockers. It's very flexible, and it's a great opportunity to get involved. You don't have to have experience door knocking. We will get you equipped for that. We'll set you up. We will get you all the training. We have several people that are on staff now, never knocked before, have fallen in love with it, and they love being able to talk and be able to talk to citizens and talk to these people about things that matter. And the nice thing about it is they are giving the information they may never have access to. And I think that it's a really good opportunity to also work on communication skills, and like I said, and you're getting paid to do it. So I mean, what better? I mean, and like I said, we'll equip you with all your handouts that you need. We got Clark County, we got Floyd County, Washington County. I mean, anywhere, actually, all over the state. So Washington County, you want to work, you want maybe door knocking, something that interests you. We'll get you hired on. Maybe door knocking is not something. We have a slew of volunteer opportunities that we'd love to have people come and get you plugged in somewhere. We have a lot of opportunities. We're a great organization, and we give back. We love that you give to us. We also give back to you as well. So come be a part. AmericansForProsperity.org. Americans for Prosperity on any of the social media outlets, and or you can just contact me, Angel Purlee, and we'd love to get you plugged in somewhere, get you involved, and see where it takes you.
All right, awesome. Okay, real quick before we go, I do want to, Roger, we didn't get to our islands that we are being built on our square. Want to remind everybody this is not a city project.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of discussion about that, and
why did you do that, Roger?
Yeah, I think there were probably a lot of federal and state mandates because of the American Disabilities Act that probably factor a lot into that, the way that those were constructed, and the design of that. Could see that there could be some potential problems, but obviously they're going to be there, so we'll have to see how it plays out once they're completed and traffic starts to flow through there, and then we'll have a really good idea of maybe some modifications might need to be recommended or possibly made, but yeah, they're going to be there. So when they get that finished and we get the pylons and everything away and get traffic flowing through, we'll see how it all comes out.
Right. And again, for the people in the back to hear the reason, or some of the, it's always nice to kind of, again, because I've had a lot of people ask me, but they saw it as more of a safety issue.
I think some of it is probably that, and NDOT has their engineers and their designers that created this, and we'll just have to trust that those folks know what they're doing, and we'll see how that plays out here within the next couple of months. I understand a lot of concerns from the community and the public. I do see some of those, but obviously as a city council member, very limited on the authority that I would have, or that the council, or that even City Hall would have to make major changes in that. But obviously they're going to be there now, so it's, I guess you could say, we're stuck with that. So let's see how it plays itself out. And I know that you and I discussed, you had a median in front of this building here a few years ago, and that turned out not to be such a good idea, and some changes were made to that. So anything's possible.
So they do listen.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to say they do listen.
Yeah, and I just want to echo on what you guys have been talking about too, is that if you want to get involved and you want to make major changes, get involved at the local level.
Yeah.
City councils, county councils, commissioners, school boards, most of what affects your day-to-day life, those decisions are made at the local level. They're not made in Washington, D.C. Police, fire, your water, your sewer, your school board, all those decisions, your garbage pickup, your animal control, all those are made at the local level. Right. So it is important to have representation that's good in D.C. and up in Indianapolis, but to really dig in and make a substantial change, the grassroots at the local level is where most of those major decisions most of those decisions are made by people that sit on boards like you and I do, Becky. So that's why I take it so serious, and I know it's an awesome responsibility, and I enjoy this community. It's given so much to me, and it means a great deal to me. And I wouldn't be anywhere else. I love the people of Salem. I love the people of Washington County, and that's who I'm here to serve.
And one more thing to report. Want to congratulate Jill Myers she's our new superintendent. We have a new superintendent at Salem.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
The things that were said, how wonderful, and the great things that we've heard from. She actually had a car full of people that came up from Madison that had worked with her to watch her watch this honor being on her and given to her, and they and that speaks volume for somebody for friend or people to load up on a Monday night to come and support her. I mean that's
good to hear. As a mother who's about to put her child in the Salem school system in August. So.
Will she be moving into the community, or has she already?
No, she comes back and forth, but she's very involved. She's very much here all the time. Quite good, yeah. So.
Maybe that's not off the table. I mean, I can't speak for her. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, I literally, I have no idea. I'm just saying it may not be off the table. I mean, she might be here a little more often than what.
She's kind of like you, though. She's like Mary Poppins. She's kind of like you, Roger. She obviously doesn't sleep much. She gets a lot done.
Well, I haven't had a chance to meet her, but I look forward to that.
Yeah, you need to meet her.
Okay. Yeah. I know somebody on the school board.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a guy. Yeah.
Or a girl.
Girl, I was gonna say. Not a guy.
That's a saying.
I know. All right, let's say our sponsors.
Let's thank these lovely sponsors.
Thank you, Roger Pennington, for coming in. Keep up the great work. Thank you for telling us your story. I'd love to hear those firefighter stories for sure. So thank you. And
thank you, Becky. Thank you, Angel.
And thank you for a wonderful season in basketball.
Okay, let's think. Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's, Fox Purlee Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Windhorse for Home, located Paoli in English, and McAllister Land Consulting.
All right, let's have the best day ever, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Planning to buy some land or build a new home or maybe put up a fence? Do you know your property lines? Are you in a floodplain? When it comes to surveying your property, call someone you can trust with years of experience. That's McAllister Land Consulting. Call 812-274-0860, providing fast, friendly service at reasonable rates. McAllister Land Consulting can provide a wide range of services, including residential and commercial certified land surveys, flood elevation certificates, and land usage consulting. Get to know your property. Call McAllister Land Consulting for a free quote today at 812-274-0860.
The world's biggest bourbon and music festival, Bourbon and Beyond 2024. A perfect blend of bourbon, culinary, and music with Zach Bryan, Dave Matthews Band, Tyler Childers, Neil Young, Beck, and Louisville's own My Morning Jacket, Matchbox 20, Cody Jinks, Maren Morris, The Head and Heart, Tedeschi Trucks Band, The National, Whiskey Myers, Chris Isaac, Young the Giant, Teddy Swims, Milky Chance, and more. September 19th through 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky. Single day and weekend passes, camping and hotel packages. On sale now at bourbonandbeyond.com.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the minute you walk into Salem Crossing. The experts in long-term care, not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers and solutions and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Salem Crossing, visit ASCSSeniorCare.com or call 812-883-1877. That's 812-883-1877.
Which is best, white chili or red chili? Bring your appetite and your opinion to the AWC Chili Cook-Off March 11th from 4 to 7 at Southern Hills Church. Tickets are available.
And he said, yes, sir, y'all didn't come in last night, and so we charged you for the rooms.
What?
And we let them go as well because we got a bunch of events. I said, time out.
Whoa.
I said, I understand if you let them go last night, but you're charging us and not having us, like, what? Who checked us out this morning if you charged us? Well, sir.
Are you elevated at this point?